So we have already clipped our required feature classes, that is water body and sea beach, that we saved as a layer file. Now we have saved this as a clipped feature class file, so that for the further analysis. And for the vacant land, we are just not clipping, because if we clip the vacant land from this feature class, that will include some other feature classes, for example agriculture or other purposes, which are also classified as vacant land. So we are not clipping this layer file as feature class. Now our next task is to apply the analytical tool buffer. For buffer analysis, we have to add different shape files from other folder. We'll be connecting the folder. At first, let's uncheck this all for our comfortable of work. Now I'm going to add the file from social land use folder. That is, we have to use, there are for social land use there are different kind of point and polygon features, that is cemetery, community facility, educational institute, government use, healthcare, housing, library. But for tourism we have to select some selected point, that is tourist spot point and rural settlement point. We will use these 2 point shapefile. So we are adding these 2 point features here. If I make the sign more clear to you, so these are the tourist spot and these are rural settlement. Okay, these are the rural settlements and these are the tourist spots. As we have fixed the parameter that it should be, the potential tourist resort should be within the 2 kilometer of the rural settlements and within 2 kilometer of the tourist sites. So I have to apply the buffer analysis on these points. So again I'll use the Geo-Processing tool and then I'll click on buffer analysis. You can also find it here pointing out search, and if you just type it here buffer, then you'll find it, the buffer analysis. So for buffer analysis, our input feature class at first is rural settlement point, and our output feature class will be again here. I am just putting it rural buffer, name rural buffer feature class, and here is our value field, I mean our buffer criteria. For our buffer criteria, we will select our unit as a kilometer and type here 2 kilometer. So it will fixed out, it will make the buffer within 2 kilometer of the rural settlement. Again the buffer work going on. See, the buffer is done on the basis of 2 kilometer radius. And again, if I want to put buffer on the tourist spots, I have to select tourist spot points and then output feature class. I have to name tourist buffer. And then again, select the unit and put it 2 kilometer. You can also input different kind of unit and different kind of parameter. You can put it on 5 kilometer, 1 kilometer, 3 kilometer, whatever you wish, but it has to be validated. If the place is very small and if you just put the buffer around 5 kilometer, then it won't be validated, or it won't be logical or reasonable. So for tourist site or tourist resort, I want to put it within the 2 kilometer buffer zone of the tourist site so that it will be easily accessible. Let's see what happens. So tourist buffer is also done. If I change the color for more understanding, here I put the buffer again. Tourist and village settlement buffer is done. Then I have to put again another buffer on the roads, because I have put the criteria that there should be, the tourist resort should be within 2 kilometers from the major roads. So I have to select the shapefile of major road lines. Here the network of major road lines of Kotatingi, and I have to put the buffer again using this, and I have to find out the, sorry, I have include the minor roads, it should be the major roads, and then I'm naming it here road buffer. Should be again within 2 kilometers. So the buffer is done. So we got three types of buffer here. One is from the rural settlement, it should be 2 kilometers within 2 kilometer radius. From the tourist spot, it should be within 2 kilometer radius. And from the major roads, the potential site should be within 2 kilometer radius. And we have some other parameters, another parameters we didn't apply it yet, that it should be within the 2 kilometer of the water bodies and within 3 kilometers of the sea beach. So we have to use now the feature class water body and sea beach here. If I uncheck all this buffer line and now check the water body clip to put on the buffer using geoprocessing, it's not important that you will uncheck all the shape files, all the layers, but for your comfortable of work, you will just uncheck or check. I'm just naming it water body clip, water body buffer. See, the water body buffer is done. In the same process, okay, in the same way, we have done our buffer for the sea beach, that is in this layer, the sea beach buffer, and we have checked all the buffer all together. That is rural areas buffer, tourist spot buffer, road buffer, water body buffer, and sea beach buffer. These are all layer by layer all together, but these layers are not overlays or merged. These are different kind of layers which are not working all together. These have different type of attributes. So we have to use another geoprocessing tools that is called merge, which is combines multiple input dataset all together into one unique output dataset. So we have to merge all these buffers together. That is rural buffer, tourist buffer, road buffer, water body buffer, and sea beach buffer. So if we select our output feature class and click on OK, then this will be the merge this will be named on rural buffer merge. If you open the attribute table, you will see that this all has been merged all together. All the areas are merged. But now another work has to be done, that is I have to dissolve all the areas all together, because in this merge feature class these are still using different feature classes and these have unique attributes. If we apply the geoprocessing tool that is called dissolve, it will aggregate all the features based on one attribute. So all the attributes will be aggregated all together. So now I am going to apply the geoprocessing tool that is called dissolve, and our all input feature class will be the rural buffer merge that we have done now. And we'll name it all dissolve. And there are fields on the basis you can dissolve, but this is not compulsory. We'll just put on OK. For dissolve, you have to put on input feature class that all merged, then you have to put on OK. You have to wait for the geoprocessing. Now these all the boundaries are dissolved all together and this is joined as one polygon. All the attributes, different attributes of those buffered areas of those feature classes that were merged all together now dissolve. That means these all are dissolved into one polygon class. This is the expected zone where I want to build the tourist resort. But there is still one thing we have to keep in mind, that if we input the shapefile vacant land, there are still lands which are not inside the selected zones. So we have to remove these lands from the selection areas. And we also have to find out the suitable lands which are more than or equal to 1 hectare or 0.01 square kilometer, because for potential tourist site we cannot fix a very small parcel of land, because a tourist resort will need a large area. So it should be recommended that it should not be less than 1 hectare. But when we selected our vacant land, we did not put this criteria. You can put this criteria uh, in the first hand when you just select the vacant land on the basis of the layers. Now we are going to, at first, we are going to just fix out all the vacant lands. Those are greater than or equal to 1 hectare. So we are again going to use the selection by attribute. Now I have to put the vacant land here, land use areas. The name is changed, it doesn't matter, you can rename it again as vacant land. So vacant land selection, I have to now find out the vacant lands which are more than or equal to 1 hectare. So now our selection criteria is area, luas hectare. This is the area, total area, so it should be greater than or equal to 1 hectare. So I put the total area greater than or equal to 1 hectare. Now these are selected, which are the vacant land less than or greater than or equal to 1 hectare, the large parcel of the vacant land. Then again I will just make it another layer. Name it vacant land, potential vacant land, so that I can find out easily. So I got the potential vacant land area. So here is the potential vacant land. If I just change it the color, so these are the parcels which are greater than or equal to 1 hectare. See, the small parcel are excluded. You see the attribute table here. It will select only the larger areas. Now I can clip the vacant land from here with the dissolved areas. Let me rename the shapefile. Now I'm going to clip only these vacant lands, and I'm going to exclude these vacant lands from the selection. So I have to again use the clip, and my input feature class is all dissolve, and clip feature is potential vacant land. Now I give the final name, final selection. So these are the final selections. See, these, if I use the color here, these vacant lands are the final selection, and these vacant lands which are outside the boundary area, are outside the factor area, dissolved area, these are excluded. So these are only the potential sites for the tourist area. These are within the 2-kilometer boundary of the rural space, tourist spots, major roads and highways, and sea beaches. So you can further give more and more perfection to these places, to these areas. So there are also some small parcel of land. You can exclude all these by keeping more selection criteria. Here is our final selected lands. So after we get our suitable land, potential land, you can just organize this within a nice presentable map. I have input at the data of at the shapefile of district boundary, then again add the point features of rural areas and tourist spots, then the suitable vacant land. It's very important that using the geoprocessing, you can also do it on the model builder. The whole process will be showed in the model builder, and this model can be used for further any other kind of shapefiles or any other different type of feature classes. So using the model builder for geoprocessing analysis is very effective, so that it will just work on as a guide for you for the future work. And by this model builder, by taking the help from this model builder, you can again just build a model. From in our next class, we'll learn how we can create this geoprocessing analysis using model builder. Thank you very much. Stay fine and keep practicing in your home. Stay safe. Thank you very much.